Just before my sister was committed, she became deeply paranoid.
It's paranoid delusion.
I'm not paranoid.
Have you ever said you were paranoid about leaving the coffee pot on? You know, that nagging feeling? It's a word we throw around all the time, but what does it really mean? Well, in this TalkWord explainer, we're going to unpack the surprisingly deep history and the dual meaning of the word paranoid.
Getting curious about the words we use every day, that's not just some fun little exercise. Honestly, it helps make us more confident and precise communicators. And paranoid is a perfect example of this because its meaning is way more complex than you might think.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. What are we actually saying when we call something or someone paranoid? The dictionary gives us a pretty clear starting point. Check out the keywords here: extreme, irrational, and distrust. So, according to the official definition, being paranoid isn't just about some everyday worry. No, it's a powerful, deep-seated feeling that doesn't really have a logical reason behind it. But that brings up a good question, right? We hear people use this word all the time in situations that aren't nearly that intense. To really get why, we actually need to take a quick trip back in time. So, the secret to understanding the two sides of paranoid is hidden in its roots. You know, a word's history is often like a map to what it means today. So let's follow the trail. The journey starts way back in ancient Greek from para, which means beside, and nous, meaning mind. So to be paranoid literally meant to be beside one's mind, or, deranged. And it stayed that way for centuries until the 1800s, when it popped up in English as a very specific medical term. And that jump from a general idea to a clinical diagnosis is the whole reason we use it in two very different ways today. And this brings us right back to today and how we actually use paranoid in real life. You can almost think of it as a word with two different personalities. One is super casual, and the other is clinical. So over on the left, you've got the casual use, that nagging anxiety about everyday stuff. Then on the right, you have the clinical meaning, which describes a serious mental health condition. See, it's the exact same word, but it's operating on two completely different levels of intensity. This is the perfect example of that casual use. Are you truly experiencing an irrational distrust of your coffee maker? Probably not, right? You're just expressing a really common anxiety, and you're using paranoid as a stronger, more colorful way to say you're worried. Now, compare that with this sentence. Here, the word is being used in its original medical context. This isn't about a simple worry. It's describing a whole pattern of thought that a doctor would see as a pretty serious symptom. The crucial difference here is the context. Context is absolutely everything in telling you which meaning is intended. This whole dual meaning thing is exactly why it's worth taking just a second to think about how we use the word and how to use it wisely. So here's the big takeaway. While we all use paranoid to talk about our everyday worries, it's really important to remember its serious clinical roots. Just recognizing the difference between a fleeting feeling and a serious condition makes our language a lot more precise and, frankly, a lot more respectful. And that's the story of paranoid, all the way from ancient Greek for beside the mind to a word we use every single day. Now, we want to hand the reins over to you. If this got your gears turning, you can totally continue the journey with our companion app, TalkWord. It actually lets you create your very own short audio explainers, just like this one, for any English word you want to master. It's a really powerful way to practice, learn, and share your own discoveries. So as you go about your day, listen to the words you hear around you and ask yourself this: what English word makes you curious? Thanks so much for joining this TalkWord explainer.
What we knew about him was that he was extremely dangerous, extremely paranoid.
I'm extremely paranoid about my health.